You would insist that until you get the minority, you will call a meeting. You don't even notify us. You are doing your party business. You this clerk. Is that the way a civil servant should behave? It's a shame on you. You this clerk. It's a shame on you. You this clerk. If you want to be some parliament, we will spare you. You go and come for a meeting. You this clerk. You this clerk. You this clerk. We all agree. We are not against your government. We are not against your government. We've been cooperating that we should have a meeting. You should be fair to us for the meeting. That you should be fair to us. You should be fair to us. We are ready to help you. Don't mistreat us. Don't mistreat us. The fact that we are minority, don't mistreat us. We have helped you. No opposition ever helped the government to form a government as quickly as possible this time. What else do we do? And you this partisan clerk. When I was majority leader, you insist that the minority must be heard. Today, you call for a meeting without us. You think we are going to be quiet? And shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! We don't need you as a partner. We are not fair. We don't want your vote. You should suspend. Have a meeting in my class. Have a meeting. My class. My clerks are able to work with clerks in this place. We are not going to allow. Nobody is going to happen. You are going to I can assure you.
All members will have Mrs. Muhila
Now the clerk to the committee. This clerk to the committee has shown her colors that she is of the NDC stock. We are going to officially write to the clerk to Parliament to withdraw this lady from the appointment committee. And that lady must either resign as a parliamentary staff or change her posture without delay. When we were in government, this same clerk will insist that the minority must have its say, read through reports before it is signed by the chair. This same clerk today will advertise those who have been scheduled for vetting at midnight without notice to us as minority. Report gets signed, and the first time the minority will see the report will be on the floor. The practice has been that I would see the draft, go through, share my concerns before it is signed. But on a number of occasions, I try to engage quietly to resolve these things. Not even once has this NDC clerk brought a report to my attention. This morning, after all her numerous sins, she committed another grave sin this morning again. We were in Parliament as early as 8 o'clock to have our caucus meeting. When we were done, the majority chief whip reached out to the chief whip of our caucus that they wanted us to have a meeting. We agreed to the meeting They said they were waiting for the majority leader. Indeed, the majority leader himself called me that he was on his way and that the meeting should be held in his office. Whilst waiting, we now saw the NDC caucus commencing the verdict. And this same clerk, without reaching out to us, administered the oath. What an irresponsible clerk we have. What an unprofessional clerk we have. What a partisan clerk we have. She must be ashamed of herself and ashamed of her profession as a parliamentary service staff. We will not spare her. We will go all out to deal with her in accordance with law if she will not change. But to my respected friend, Roxanne Eche Dafiamako, if he thinks that he is still in opposition and he would be a bully, then he would meet his meter. The friend Makpo has gained notoriety of shouting, yelling, undermining his own chairman, interrupting proceedings, undermining his own majority leader, and he describes himself as the avant-garde of the government. Really, is he the first majority chief whip? The majority chief whip role is to be a key negotiator. He should be a diplomat in the chamber. His job is not to fight. If he did so successfully in opposition, now he is in government. So President Mahama and his government may have to rethink their choice of Roxanne Eche Dafiamako as their majority chief whip.
I haven't adverted my mind to our policy on gifts. That's why I asked you, will it be treated in the records of the presidency as a gift? Because I think that there's something that has been gifted to the government of Ghana, because we received somebody's aircraft to use it for official trip, and we haven't paid for it. So in effect, it's a gift. Is it a gift to John Mahama or is it a gift to the office of the president? In which case, legally, they receive different treatments. If it's a gift to John Mahama, President John Mahama, as a person, it has different tax implications. If it's a gift to the office of the president, it has different tax implications. So how will you treat what has happened
I think that
going forward in the future, working at the office of the president?
Well, I would have to receive specific briefing on how to, but I'm certain, beyond any doubt, that whatever obligations arise out of any classification that is given to it will be met by the president. I don't think he has any difficulty at all doing that. But it is safe to say that it was the most viable option at the time. To the extent that the aircraft was safe and did not endanger him in any way. It didn't cost us anything. I, as a Ghanaian, would prefer that arrangement to what President Akufo-Addo was doing, to be fair. But as for the classification, I'm sure that the president has a legal counsel, so I'm sure that she can help in determining the classification. But if it is classified and any obligation arises, the president will have no difficulty meeting it, knowing the kind of person that he is.
If you listen to Ghanaians who spoke extensively about the matter, one of the things that, or an undertone, was a question of improper influence. Is that okay? That will, providing such a facility to the president, position the brother of the president in such a way that he would have improper influence over the president.
Well, thank you very much. I think that President Mahama's track record is pretty clear. His brother's track record is also quite clear. As I indicated in the earlier answer, this is a man who has established, indeed, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama had been a prominent businessman for over a decade and a half before his brother became president, even in his previous guise in 2013 and 2016. He's a well-known businessman. There's a man who owns cement factories and all that on his own volition, without having to rely on government. I do not think that the mere fact that he has assisted his brother with travel, and I must point out that this is an aircraft that the president has been using since his days in opposition. Immediately he was elected, he had not been sworn in, so he had not become president. He made some trips to some African countries. It was the same aircraft that he used. So he only borrowed it for 1 more week, if you like, to use for his travels. I do not think that merely on account of that, Mr. Mahama will wield some overbearing influence on his brother. If there's any influence, the mere fact of being his brother would suffice. He doesn't need to go over and above. And President Mahama is not one given to nepotism, at least of the sort that we saw under President Akufo-Addo. He has not been minded to appoint relatives en masse. I don't think he will ever do that. He was president for a long time and he didn't do that. He's not going to start doing that. So the people of Ghana can have the firmest of assurances that nepotism will not find its way into President Mahama's government. In opposition, we criticized President Akufo-Addo's lavish display, where he rented an aircraft costing millions of Ghana cedis to the taxpayer. As Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, when he became president, one of the first things he did was to ask about the status of the Armed Forces. In the Air Force, there's a unit called the Communications Squadron, which handles presidential aircraft, led by the Air Force Commander himself. The president asked them for an update on the status of the presidential aircraft, because one of the ways that the NPP sought to defend what we deem to be waste of taxpayers' money on rentals of expensive jets was that the presidential aircraft was not in good shape. I think it is fair that on assumption of office, the president seeks to find out the state of the aircraft. In the last week or so, he has received an update. And that is why in the recent travel to Angola, Tanzania, and Kenya, he used the presidential aircraft. I happen to have been on it. I can tell you that it is in pristine condition and it is okay. Once President Mahama knows that it is okay, he will do so. But before then, the option left to him would have been to either rent a replacement aircraft or fly commercial. Both alternatives were going to cost us money. He decided that in the very recent past, during his campaign, his brother happened to have 2 aircrafts, which he made available to him to the extent that he needed to travel. He has been using it. So using it for a week more at no cost to the taxpayer was the best option out of the 3 that he had. And I, as a taxpayer, take me out of the equation as a member of this government. As a taxpayer, I would have no concern if the president makes a choice that costs me nothing, especially when we know the source of the aircraft and its record. Now let me put it on record that President Mahama is not one who is given to flamboyance and ostentation. I've had the distinct pleasure of traveling with him a couple of times. There was a day that we were supposed to join a commercial aircraft.
So can I?
If you make me, yes. I'll just 1 minute. He was willing to go onto that aircraft that had only 2 seats left without any of his aides. He and his wife. We had to meet up with him later. Another president would have insisted that because we were not finding space, he will rent an aircraft. I have also been with him in an aircraft that had only economy seats from Frankfurt to Accra. He sat in it as president without complaining. So he is not someone. He could have, as President Akufo-Addo did, rented expensive aircraft to ensure his comfort, but he chose to fly economy.